Welcome back to another episode of Just Another F1 Show. This is episode 3 of On the Couch, and this is recorded post the sprint qualifying of the Chinese Grand Prix.
That's right.
So here's what happened. So we have the two Cadillac drivers finishing dead last.
Yeah. Checo didn't even make it out of the garages, did he?
No.
No time set at all, so he didn't even make it onto the timing sheet.
Yeah, and Bottas finished 21st, and I guess overall it's not very surprising for a team like Cadillac.
No, not for me either. I mean, what do you expect to happen in a week as well, right?
And it's their first time as a team in a sprint format, which I think is quite bizarre this early in the season to have a sprint race as race number 2 with these new regulations. And there's so much to learn, so much to know about, but I think it's the same for everyone, so it's still fair.
Yeah, fair, and it might bring some excitement. Next up was Aston Martin with Stroll and Alonso.
I mean, it's not really surprising, the gap between Stroll and Alonso, which is still quite a big gap as well. I think the team is where the team is. They clearly have these issues.
Yeah.
I think we can expect them maybe to finish the sprint, but I don't really expect anything from them from the race either.
Yeah. I think that's what they hope as well, right? To just get in some laps, to catch up on all the testing that everyone else has done pre-season, but they couldn't. Yeah. So this is kind of a, I'm not sure if you can say, but testing ground as well for them.
Yeah, I think Alonso said something that the situation from outside feels a lot worse than it is inside the team. I think for someone like Alonso with 2 championships, 100 plus podiums, finishing 7th, 5th, last 12th is all equally as painful. As each other. If he's not winning, then it's not good enough.
He's got that perspective.
Now on to a team that I think has completely run out of excuses and a complete disappointment in sprint qualifying.
Can you please like and subscribe?
And let us know what you think. What can we improve? What are your opinions? Did you watch sprint qualifying? Williams. Both Williams drivers have finished 17th and 18th. Which means that is the pace of that car.
That's true, because they're both really good drivers.
Yep.
I mean, we know that. They're reliable. They didn't make any big mistakes either. So that's just...
So there were a couple of mistakes, but I think it was mainly because the car isn't good enough. So for a team that has the funding and James Vowles and Albon, Sainz, and most importantly, the Mercedes engine, and we'll come back to why this is important later, but this is just not good enough. I understand the car is overweight, but I think this is still something that is just not acceptable, honestly, for a team like Williams, who have constantly told everyone to judge them based on the 26 car.
And they were better last year as well, right?
Yep.
I mean, they finished 5th in the constructors.
Correct.
And now they're way, way further back.
Yep. And I think in the media, everyone is being nice, but at the end of the day, this is a performance game, and the team needs to perform more. Sainz spent the majority of free practice in the pit anyways, and that just didn't help what they were doing.
That's true.
Those and the drivers that were out in SQ1, so on to SQ2. At 16th place, we have Franco Colapinto of Alpine. Now, comparing to where Gasly finished, which I have to scroll up quite a bit, to 7th in Alpine, actually, makes our prediction from last episode accurate, that the Mercedes engine customers would actually be having the biggest jump forward once they see the potential of that engine.
Once they figure out how to unlock that power. And it seems like one of the cars was able to do that.
And not surprising which one.
Yeah,
I think
that's also true.
There was a clip in Drive to Survive that got really famous, the latest season, of Flavio Briatore telling Colapinto that to shut up pretty much and just listen, and everything is like really great on the Gasly side and it's not so great on the Colapinto side, and Colapinto needs to improve in order to get more points for the team and so on. So I think that's quite sad.
Harsh treatment.
Yeah, but fair, right? I mean, Colapinto and Gasly both have access to the same car at the moment, and Colapinto is 16th compared to 7th for Pierre Gasly. So
that is a big difference.
Yeah,
That's
there is
true.
a big, of course, experience delta.
Yeah.
But
true.
yeah.
Right. Next up, we have Lindblad in 15th. And I think last qualifying, he was doing a bit better. This qualifying, we're not seeing him as up high, but it could also be that the Chinese GP is not as big of an advantage track, I would say, for Red Bull, or that they've doing. They've been
RB.
RB, sorry.
Prediction for the future: Arvid Lindblad to Red Bull. Here first.
No, sorry. But yeah, that the team in general isn't performing as well on this track as it did in Australia. What are your thoughts on this?
I think it's quite harsh. Arvid Lindblad, this is the first time he's in China.
All right, yeah.
And he crashed in free practice.
Yeah.
So overall, over the entire weekend, he's done 2 laps.
Okay.
Really? in a brand new car in F1. So for him to finish 15th and actually make it out of SQ1, I think is notable. His teammate as well finished 13th. So it really isn't that big of a gap. I know the gap in terms of time is big. It's like almost 7/10 between Arvid and Lawson. But I think overall, for someone who's only done 2 laps in this circuit, he's probably done a lot on the simulator, but 2 laps on the circuit, I think this is still quite okay for his first year. Plus, Arvid is the same as any of the other teams. We don't judge a rookie as to how he starts the season. It's just really progression, how good he's doing. And compared to other drivers, he looks like he can maintain his cool pretty well under pressure. And I think this is a good characteristic of a lot of the really good drivers.
Yeah, that's true. Calm is really good. We've seen that with Piastri as well, for example, as a rookie having that calm.
Yep. So in 14th, we have Gabi. And in 11th is Nico Hülkenberg, which is, I think, quite a surprising result for Audi. I think no one expected Audi to be competitive.
Yeah. As a whole new team, new engine, everything.
I think Gabi over the weekend has definitely struggled more. I have seen more mistakes from Gabi throughout the whole weekend in free practice and in qualifying as well. I hope he gets on top of his problems. Again, the gap between Hülkenberg and Bortoleto is a 10th.
That's barely anything. I mean, it's this quick.
Yes, so a 10th is really not a lot of time, and I think it's okay where Audi is finishing. Plus, I think there will be a lot of learning for that team as well. So overall, quite positive.
Ocon in the Haas is in 12th. And Behrman in 9th, which is actually making me really happy that he made it all the way through to SQ3.
That's right. I think it's very predictable and it's becoming very obvious that Behrman is a lot quicker.
That's what you said last time as well, right?
That's right.
He's fast, he's quick.
That's what Ayuko Matsu said. So I think we're now seeing it proven. There's also an element of saying that these new cars fit the rookies more because they don't have a lot of experience in driving normal cars, so they can easily adjust to having a lot of buttons and a lot of things that they do, this simulator age there. So it's not really surprising to see. I think the Haas being in SQ3 is such an incredible story.
Yeah.
The Haas being in SQ3 and Williams not.
I was super surprised, honestly. I know you've been saying Haas is doing really good this season, but every time I see them up there, I'm really surprised. And
crucially, Oliver Behrman is faster than Isaac Hadjar in the Red Bull.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So Isaac Hadjar and Max Verstappen finished 10th and 8th in SQ3. That car, as I said last time, is easily the 4th fastest car on the grid today. Yeah. They have issues on the chassis side. They have issues on the engine side. And I think as I said last time, the engine problems are understandable.
Yeah.
But the chassis and the aero problems are ridiculous. Max was complaining about losing grip, not traction out of the corners, not his straight line speed. It was grip, overall grip.
And at some point it was everything.
Yeah, at some point.
Everything.
So Gasly in the Alpine is faster than Max Verstappen in the Red Bull.
That's crazy.
That's
really
already
crazy.
So this SQ3 has really brought into perspective this Mercedes engine power for Pierre Gasly to take the Alpine now with a Mercedes power unit and put it ahead of Max Verstappen
Yeah.
This is insane. And we know for a fact that Max Verstappen is a factor in driving a car. It is not only the car.
Of course.
There is a Max Verstappen time
But
as
even
well.
that could not make up for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm really surprised, but I'm sorry. I was really, really shocked to see how low Max is going. I remember Ocon was on a lap, and Hülkenberg I think was on a lap as well. And I was like, oh my God, Max is just dropping down into 10th. Hadjar barely made it into SQ3 as well. So it is just really, disappointing. I think both Hülkenberg and Ocon were less than a 10th away from Hadjar in SQ2. So there was a chance for Hadjar to be out in SQ2. But it is what it is. That team needs to sort out what is going on in the team. It lost a lot of people.
Yeah, Red Bull did.
Red Bull
That's right.
definitely lost a lot of people. And I think it is really affecting them and affecting how they perform, especially because they're also unreliable. So Max had issues in Australia. Hadjar had issues in Australia. They basically lost all the points that were on hand for Hadjar in Australia.
That was pain, to be honest. That
If we
was
get-
so much pain.
If we get another failure now tomorrow or on Sunday, then
That would be terrible.
yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
but moving on to better teams that I'm more happy for is Ferrari and McLaren. Happier for Ferrari. Yeah, Leclerc 6. Honestly, I thought he could have been a bit better, but Hamilton this time really measuring up in SQ3, right? Because in SQ2, Leclerc was still better than Hamilton.
Yeah, at some point Leclerc put an amazing lap in SQ2. It was so much ahead of everyone. And it looked like at some point when Hamilton crossed the line, it was 6/10
Yeah,
difference.
exactly.
between
That
the-
Leclerc was better in SQ2, but then in SQ3 it just switched.
Yep. So I think there is a lot that the drivers are learning about deployment, especially that far front of the grid.
Yeah.
I think China in general is a lot better for deployment than Australia was. There is really one big straight, a lot of corners that they could recharge their batteries on. Super clipping sounded horrible down
That's
that
true.
straight.
I heard it a lot this time.
Yeah, it sounded really bad. And I think there are rumors that F1 itself are trying to manipulate how it is perceived. So
Okay.
let's address this because this was actually something that was very controversial. During the race, there is something called the live timing data. So people online can have access to the raw data that the teams have access to. Not all of it, but some of it. And there were graphs showing Russell, especially, or Antonelli, one of the Mercedes drivers, with a constant speed across that straight.
No super clipping for the Mercedes.
And no super clipping.
How?
Which is actually not true. So either it's a glitch in the system or
Okay.
it is intentional. So my assumption is that it is a glitch in the software. It is not something that is malicious, that F1 is trying to hide the stuff. But if you were watching the last episode, we talked about F1 hiding comments online. So they really now are developing this track record of hiding data, right? So people now are straight away jumping against Formula One and saying that they are hiding what is going on with the data. They're showing 350 at the beginning of the straight and 350 at the end of the straight. When
That
we
would
know,
be crazy if it would be true.
no, it's not true. It's not true. The car is super clipping, but the data is not reflecting this.
Oh, okay.
So it's a bug
yeah.
in the system.
Yeah.
And Ferrari is clearly losing half of its speed because of super clipping. It's starting at 350 and by the end of the straight, before braking, it's 140 kilometers per hour. So I assume, or I hope, that Formula One are not manipulating the data, and this is really all just a glitch.
Just an error.
Just an
Somebody
error.
made a mistake.
Yeah,
It's okay.
it's a glitch.
Yeah.
Lewis Hamilton finishing fourth as well, I think was quite good. Ferrari did not use the Macarena wing.
Yeah, or flip-flop wing, as
Yeah.
Lewis calls it.
So they used it in free practice. They tested it in free practice, but they didn't use it in the SQ. I think it's mainly because the car is going into Parc Fermé for the sprint race, not
Yeah.
for the race, but for sprint race. and they don't have enough spares of this wing, and they're not sure of how reliable the wing is. So therefore, if they use it in the race and it doesn't work, then basically they are at a disadvantage every straight, because that wing is not going to flip-flop, let's say. So again, the wing was never intended to be introduced in China.
But why test it?
I think, so Fred Vasseur said that the only place where they can test things now is FP1.
Ah, yeah, okay.
So they were testing it to see how reliable it is, how it performs, and so on. Honestly, it looks very strange to see a wing go full...
Turn around.
Full 270 or 180, I think. It's 180. A little bit more because it starts this way and actually turns around. So a full 270 maybe. So it is a bit strange to see a wing like this, but I think it is quite innovative.
It's fun.
It is fun.
It is very fun.
It is fun. Yeah, then next we have the McLaren drivers, and I think Oscar Piastri finished 5th. Lando Norris finished 3rd, which is really good.
Yeah.
The gap between them is less than a tenth between 3rd and 5th. But
they definitely found something to unlock in that engine, because they were not as good in Australia. I can tell you that much.
Yep. So this again fits into our predictions as well from last time, that these Mercedes customers were as surprised as everyone else with the performance of Mercedes, the works team, that now they know where the ceiling is.
Yeah.
So they're going to try to get to that ceiling, and I think they are pushing. We're seeing Gasly making it up.
Yeah.
We're seeing one of the McLarens perform faster than one of the Ferraris, not by a lot, but that means then that they're equal on pace, which was not what was seen in Australia. So this already shows you what we were talking about. Let's not judge on one race, but really just how it progresses, because the learning curve is so
massive.
steep.
Yeah. And I think it's now not just us who talked about it. This weekend, I've heard even commentators or in the pre-shows have them talk about it, where they say they were not given the instruction manual, basically. They were given the engine without the instruction manual. Figure it out. And that they are figuring it out.
Correct. So just to clarify, so it is required by regulations that works teams give the same engine and the same software to the customer teams, along with the fact that the customer engine needs to be able to be operated the same way as the works engine. But it is not required to tell them what settings to put into the software. That is completely up to them. So this is the part that was missing, and I think it is a great differentiator, because I've always wondered about why would a works team sell the best engine to customer teams. And I think this is quite a nice angle as well of the technical side of the sport, where we never really talked about settings of engines.
No, why would you? But now we have a reason to.
Correct. So it is actually quite fascinating to see this, and I'm quite happy that this is happening. Mercedes now onto Mercedes, finishing 1st and 2nd again.
Not surprising.
Which I think will be a common recurrence this year.
Yeah.
Mercedes finishing 1st and 2nd by a huge margin.
Yeah, not surprising. But again, I think Russell is just performing. He's not leaving anything on the table here. And
I think he's leaving quite a lot on the table.
You think so?
I think the car is so good, but Russell is the kind of driver to understand the gap that he has and to not take more risks than needed.
So you think he just drives it safe?
Yep. And this is safe.
First.
Yep. I think he's not getting any challenge from Antonelli. Antonelli finished 3/10 behind. So just under 3/10. But just because I'm a big Max Verstappen fan. The gap from George Russell in P1 to Max Verstappen in P8 is 1.7 seconds.
That is basically what the whole grid was last year.
1.7 seconds from George Russell in the Mercedes to Max Verstappen in the Red Bull.
Calm down, it's okay.
That gap is so monumental that even if we assume an exponential development rate, we will never catch up. So this is something that I do not know how I'm going to survive the rest of the season with such a gap. So this is why we need these kind of shows more than ever, because I can only enjoy the technical side of it now, because I cannot enjoy the sporting side anymore. George Russell and Kimi Antonelli are going to finish the season P1 and P2 at every single race this year.
That's your prediction?
That is my prediction.
Let's go.
Antonelli has proven to be close enough to Russell and will only improve. Russell can only continue improving. He's not going to get worse. And the customer teams of Mercedes are still far behind. The gap from George to Lando, so from P1 to P3, is already 6/10.
And
6,
Ferrari
7 tenths.
can't really take the top spot anymore, can they?
And Ferrari also are kind of behind as well. Oh man, I don't know how this season is going to transpire, but Mercedes have actually done an amazing job. That car looks so good,
Yeah.
so reliable, so quick, so balanced, so balanced. And in the hands of someone like George, who I've always never really enjoyed watching him drive, but I always knew that he was an amazing driver. That was clear, right? So this was post-sprint qualifying. We're going to try to do this again after the sprint race. And yeah, let us know what you think. If you've liked the video, please press like.
Subscribe as well.
Subscribe as well. Let us know what you think. And yeah, see you next time.
See you soon.
Bye.